All right, I am being told that we are live here inside Facebook in the page, I'm sorry, in the group. The group is 3-Day Apple Fast. Test, test. Okay, cool. We're good. 3-Day Apple Fast. I'm going to refresh it in here just to make sure that is the case. See if I see the post. And voila, there we do. I see the post. So if you are here in 3-Day Apple Fast, you will see me and we will be conversing here shortly. If you're not yet in 3-Day Apple Fast, I'll see you when you do join. And if you are currently there, you won't be able to hear me say this, but refresh your page and you will be able to join us live. So basically, as I promised, and as the topic states inside of Facebook, I'm going to describe to you briefly how I went from 188 pounds to 158 pounds in several weeks without working out and have kept it off for 90 plus days. So a lot of lessons that were learned in this process that I thought would answer a lot of curiosity from people who've been asking me, how'd you do it? So the bottom line is, here we are in 3-Day Apple Fast. It was more than a 3-Day Apple Fast. It was not a 3-Day Apple Fast that led me to achieving these results. However, it was through fasting. And in particular, following the guidelines seen in this hugely successful book by Herbert M. Shelton, Fasting Can Save Your Life. And this is old. Like, when was this published? Let me look here. First published 1964. So old book, has touched, well, at the time, a long time ago, 450,000 copies sold, but I think it's much higher than that years and years later. So this book is hard to get a hold of, but it's highly worth it. So that's where I based a lot of my studies, a lot of my excitement leading up to the transformation. And let's see here. Okay, so the transformation began with me just saying, you know what, enough is enough. Coming into this year, I had the annual Marketers Cruise, so marketerscruise.com, and was speaking on a regular basis at a resort in Costa Rica. And one of my fellow speakers, seeing me in February, after I returned from the week-long Marketers Cruise, said, man, you bulked up, thinking I'd hit the gym. I was like, no, I didn't bulk up. I actually had just come back from a week at sea and indulged in a little more food than I probably should have. So that, plus looking in the mirror and a couple other factors, led me to say, you know what, I'm going to do another transformation. So years ago, I did a transformation. I went from 196 pounds to 168 pounds in 60 days. Yet that included a lot of working out. So in this particular transformation, I asked myself, I said, I could go get something like a very rigorous workout, and I have the discipline and willpower and commitment to probably complete it, but many people don't. I said, let me try a transformation that I think anybody would be able to accomplish. So without working out, this time, I went from 188 pounds to 158 pounds in just a few weeks and have kept it off for over 3 months. And it was by following the techniques shared here in Fasting Can Save Your Life. So leading up to it, I have done countless 3-Day Apple Fasts since I first found out about the Apple Fast in 1993 by reading some books by Edgar Cayce. And I've done it time and time again. Usually a few times per year, I'll do a 3-Day Apple Fast. Now it's even more frequent than that. So I've built up the discipline. I've built up the regularity of doing it to where it's not that big a deal for me. When I first began, it was a big deal to go 3 days only eating apples, drinking water and eating apples. I just got a message here. Gotcha. Okay, so I've built up that tolerance to participate in a lot of Apple Fasts. And in doing so, I've also done a few no food fasts. So I've done a 3-day no food fast. I've done a 7-day no food fast. I've done a 10-day no food fast over the years. And each time I do it, similar to me doing a 3-day apple fast, regardless of how many times I've done it, I'm always amazed at how it's always brought to my attention of how, even though I've done them time and again, when I do each and every apple fast for 3 days, sometimes I'll catch myself breaking out of the fog with the refrigerator open or with the cupboards open and asking myself, what am I even doing here? I'm not even eating. And that basically reminds me that it's easy to get sucked back into the matrix, easy to get sucked back into routines and habits and rituals. And many times when I find myself at the refrigerator or cupboard with it open during an apple fast or any other no food fast, it's generally out of procrastination. Me wanting to get away from escapism, basically, get away from the responsibilities at hand. Sometimes it's work, sometimes it's relationships, sometimes it's just boredom. But I found that in doing repetitively 3-day apple fasts, once every couple months, each and every time I find myself breaking out of that fog, almost like a hypnotic spell, and doing things, eating, going to the cupboard, going to the fridge, out of habit, out of ritual, out of procrastination, out of boredom, out of just routine, versus out of choice to fuel our body. So that's part A. So I've done numerous 3-day apple fasts, and this time I wanted to do more than an apple fast. So I basically said, you know what, I'm going to go a few days without eating. And I didn't set a limit. I didn't know how long it would be. I just said, you know what, I'm going to go. It's probably going to be 3 days or more. And I just started without eating. David, what's happening? Good to see you here. And the 3 days were pretty simple. And just drinking water, no food whatsoever. And I didn't do it for the weight loss. But what I found is each time I do an apple fast or any no food fast, it's more of a mental, emotional, and sometimes even a spiritual journey. And the side benefit is, yes, the weight is reduced pretty fast as well. But here's the big difference. When I went 3 days, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm not even hungry. There's not any willpower or discipline that's being used to conduct this. It's really just a matter of making that decision and sticking with it. But here's the revelation. I had to then say, what am I going to do with all this free time? Think about this. If we eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and possibly some snacks in between, that's at least 3 hours a day, possibly 4. Now, when you go on a multi-day fast, you also have to remove the time sitting in the other office on the toilet, right? Now, it doesn't sound like much right away, but think about 3+ hours a day you save, plus, who knows, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour in the toilet throughout the day. You're not on the toilet much when you're not eating any food. So what are you going to do with that extra time? So in essence, I had to prepare myself, and I did a lot more reading. I did a lot more writing. I did a lot more things for myself. And that's probably the biggest thing, is how you can remain not bored and fill that time with other stuff. And I will say this, it's also very odd to not be eating. So there are the family issues and the family situations and the social settings that come up. And that needs to be practiced. And there's a resource. So this is the one resource, number one, Fasting Can Save Your Life, by Herbert Shelton. Amazon that. It's not easy to find, and it's not inexpensive. The second resource that I found was by asking some friends. I said, look, when I re-engage and choose to eat, I don't want to go back to the way I had been eating, because I know that's just a recipe for getting back to where I started. So I said, I want to choose to eat healthier. And where and what could I do to research that? So I found this resource. The resource is called Never Binge Again. You can go to neverbingeagain.com. And this really helped me get clear on what foods, when I choose to eat again, am I going to re-engage with? What foods am I choosing to not re-engage with? Because the reality is, since that fast ended roughly 90 plus days ago, I've eaten totally different. I didn't go back to the way that I ate prior to the fast. And it's in due part to me studying numerous times the material at Never Binge Again. So I've revamped my eating habits. I'm now eating healthier. I'm now eating smaller portions, and my weight has continued to drop. Where the reverse generally happens when I've done the 3-day apple fast time and again, and some other fasts. When the fast is over, I just go back to eating the way I ate prior, and the weight would immediately come back on, and many times even put on more weight. So I truly revamped, by following the material at Never Binge Again, my whole eating process, the way I think about eating, the way that I participate with eating, and I'm now eating much healthier and much smaller portions. And there's a lot of things in this book that talks about that. Back in the day when we worked in fields, we were burning a lot of energy. And breakfast, lunch, and dinner may have been necessary to replenish that meal. However, nowadays we're sitting most of the time. We're sedentary. We're not moving. Yet we eat more, and we eat more processed food and less healthy food. So lots of things that lead to we are eating much more than we need to. And it's a real eye-opener when you unplug for a multi-day no-food fast of how life goes on. And actually, here's the great part. All right, we're on a computer right now. There's a program on our computer, each of our computer, that's taking up the majority of the energy. The majority program that we use for energy in our body is digestion. And when you remove your body from that process, it frees up that extra energy to go elsewhere. So the fat literally just sheds off, and your body detoxifies, and you feel much more energetic. You feel much more happier. You feel much more vibrant. You feel much more passionate. And you also unplug from the hypnosis, and you unplug from the matrix. It's a real eye-opening experience. So long story short, there's really no secrets. I went day after day. 3 days turned into 5, which turned into 7, which turned into 10. And I considered, geez, should I end now? And I said, you know what? I've gone this far. Let me go until I feel hungry. Well, ironically, that went 12 days, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 days with no food. And I didn't even feel hungry at the 17th day. The only reason I broke the fast was on the 18th day. I was flying back to Costa Rica for a week-long training. And I actually contemplated a couple scenarios. I could have gone, in my mind, another week of continuing that fast. However, here was the scenario. One, I was presenting in front of roughly 25 people who invested a lot of money to be there to learn from me. And I knew that I would be at the top of my game. However, if I ended my fast while there, I also recognize generally when you re-enter into food, there's going to be more toilet time, right? And some possible food not resonating well with your body. And I didn't want to have my stage time interrupted with that. So I chose to break the fast one day prior to going to Costa Rica to train these people. Yet I did it on following the Never Binge Again philosophies. And I'd already pre-chosen which foods I was going to interact with, which foods I was not going to interact with. And I didn't re-indulge. I actually, I think the first day I ate 2 avocados. The next day, maybe 2 more avocados. And then went into more vegetables and fruits. And have been mostly, not a strict vegan, but mostly vegetables, fruits, beans, nuts, things of those nature, much healthier foods. I do eat fish, and I have had a few bits of chicken and a couple pieces of meat, but most of it has been vegetarian since the fast, and I have huge amounts of energy. And I will say this, I didn't go to the gym during that process, but I did walk. My morning walk is a ritual that I love. And I did do my morning walk, which is an hour round trip. So half-hour walk and half-hour back. Half-hour to the beach, half-hour back. So round trip, it's 3.4 miles, roughly 1 hour at a fast pace. And that was what I did for working out. So I didn't go to the gym, but I did go from 188 pounds to 158 pounds in a few weeks just by choosing to not eat and not work out. But what I did do as mental and emotional exercise was walk on a daily basis. All right. So I broke the fast. I remained eating some healthier foods, smaller portions for the whole week that I was in Costa Rica. By the way, only water. So I didn't indulge in anything. And when I got back from Costa Rica for a week with basically unlimited food that I could have accessed, similar to the cruise a couple months earlier, I stayed true to the new eating patterns and actually felt good eating only fruits, vegetables, nuts, things of that nature. And I came back and weighed the same as when I left. And it's pretty amazing. So just by choosing to modify your eating habits, you can stay true to your true health. And it begins with a fast. So these are my results. I mean, just to be clear, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving any medical advice. I'm simply sharing my story. And by no means am I recommending you do what I did and or your results would be similar. I'm just saying that fasting, as the book says, can save your life and can be a tool in your tool bag that, when combined with the resource like Never Binge Again, and actually changing and rethinking what foods you're going to choose to engage with, what you're going to choose to not engage with, your life can be at a whole different level of energy, frequency, and vibration. Now, not to mention the really good feeling of unplugging from the matrix and choosing to eat when you're actually hungry, fueling the billion-dollar body that you have, versus being a consumer driven by advertising, driven by habits, driven by rituals. There's a real strengthening of your discernment, a real strengthening of your decision-making powers and abilities, and a lot of other benefits that come from choosing to break away from that matrix, break away from that brainwashing, advertising, ritualistic behaviors and patterns, to now jump more into the power of choice. You choose what to fuel your body with, when to fuel your body, and are strengthening your choice muscle in a very, very powerful manner. I've noticed I have become very decisive with no wishy-washiness in all areas of my life that have been benefited from the fasting. So enough of me talking about it. The real trick is fasting. Now, this book, hard to come by, expensive, etc. I have 4 pages of notes that I took from this, and I actually read these notes into this microphone just a short while ago, and I actually uploaded them into my app, which I will share with you here. And I'm going to give this to you as a gift for everyone that has my app. So you go to here, you got this nice little app here, the Simplifier. Boom, it's a nice, beautiful beach there. When you open it up, here is me reading it. It's Fasting Can Save Your Life Notes. Boom. It's also hard to come by. Yep. So there I am reading this, my 4 pages of notes. I'm going to pause that. And you can get this. How to get this? Go to my site, thesimplifier.com/app. thesimplifier.com/app. And you're going to gain access to not only that, but lots of other value inside of there. But that is once you get in there, that's going to be inside the app-only content. So that's not available anywhere else. It's only in my app here. There's going to be the daily inspiration videos that you're going to see. Huge amounts of value inside of there. But then I also have another gift for you, which is a $497 gift of a training program that thousands of people bought this for $497. That's a gift from me to you as well. So go to thesimplifier.com/app. Get the app. Download the app. When you register your name and email, in 5 minutes after you register, 5 to 7 minutes, you're going to receive your password, because the app is password protected. It automatically generates that password, does some connecting of the dots, sends you the email. It does take a few minutes, so just prepare yourself. In 5 minutes in this day and age seems like eternity, but it is worth the wait. That's going to be in there. These notes will solidify and go way deeper than what I just chatted with you here about. But fasting can not only save your life, it can help you dramatically and lose and keep off weight that is unnecessary, excess, and allow you to boost your decision-making muscle and make choices to improve your health, your relationships, and your finances in one fell swoop. So I hope this is helpful. I made a promise a while back that I would share some insights that I gained during this 17-day fast, and here it is, fulfilling that promise. So go to thesimplifier.com/app and post any questions that you have here. I'm going to stick around for a minute or so before I end this chat. Let me go over here real quick and see where I do this. Add, there we go. Oh, there it is. There it is. Look at that. Pretty snazzy. So that is on the page. Go to thesimplifier.com/app. Put it up here. When you do, simply register and you will gain access to the app, all the value that's waiting in there, along with the 4 pages of extremely valuable notes from this hard to get and expensive book. In this group, the 3-day Apple Fast group, after you watch this, if you have any further questions after you go get the app at thesimplifier.com/app and listen to me reading these notes to you, if you have any further questions, by all means post them here. So that's it for today. Appreciate you being here, and until next time, make today great. We'll talk with you soon. Bye for now.